Hey guys, it's Kayla, and today I have an unconventional book haul for you. I don't have a lot of money these days, and I wanted to show off some books in a video, but I don't have any new books, so what I decided to do, I was inspired by Enya at Enya's Corner. She did a video like this where she just pulled books off her shelf that she either wanted to reread or she hasn't read yet, so I decided to do the same thing just to talk about books with you. So I hope you enjoy it, and comment below, let me know if you've read any of the books that I'm going to talk about, what you thought of them, what you think of this idea, because I might do it again, just to talk about books that are on my shelf or in my Kindle and things like that. Let's get started with all the fantastic books. First on my list is The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. I just realized that J.R.R. Tolkien also has two R's, like George R.R. Martin. Mind blown! And I actually have never read The Lord of the Rings. I know, it's a crime. I love the movies so much, and I just watched The Hobbit last night, and it was fantastic. I just want to dive more into this world, and I thought that maybe I should give the books a shot again. I tried to read them when I was younger, and it was kind of boring in the beginning, so I put it down, but I really want to try to read these again, and these are the movie covers that I actually got back in like '03 when there was like a trilogy box set like this, so I don't really like them because I hate like crossover covers like that, but it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? Let me know below what you think of the books versus the movies, and if I should give it a go. I feel like I should, because it's a sin that a fantasy reader like myself hasn't read The Lord of the Rings. Like, the next book I want to talk about is Dragonfly and Amber by Diana Gabaldon, and she writes the Outlander series, and this is book 2, and I read book 1 back in September, and they're really thick, and that's not a problem for me because I like monster reads, but I really enjoyed the first book. It was more romancy than I actually thought it was going to be, and it's going to be a series on Stars, which is why I'm like motivated to really continue with this series, but I don't know, like, I didn't expect it to be such a romance novel in the first book. I really like the time travel aspect. The writing is fantastic, and I like the characters a lot. And the world building, I mean, it's historical fiction. There were some slow parts in book 1. There's like 8 of these babies. But I really am tempted to continue on with the series, and let me know below if you guys have read this series and what you think I should do. The next book I want to read soon is Belgarath the Sorcerer by David Eddings. David Eddings is a fantasy god when it comes to writing. Like, he is fantastic. And he wrote the Belgariad series, and I absolutely love that series. If you're looking for a fantasy series to get into, and you're not like an avid fantasy reader and you want to start off slow, I highly recommend the Belgariad series. It's a 5-book series, and I believe this book is like a spin-off book basically about Belgarath the Sorcerer, and he was a prominent character in the Belgariad series, and I believe this is just like his life story, I think. So I'm really interested to see what that's all about, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing because David Eddings, guys, David Eddings, real deal here. Going along with my fantasy trend, I found out that Stephen King wrote a fantasy novel. Not only did he write a fantasy novel, but it's a standalone fantasy. Standalone fantasy, guys. Try to find one. I dare you. The Eyes of the Dragon by Stephen King. I'm anxious to see what it's all about and how a standalone fantasy really works, and I love Stephen King's writing, so anything by him that's not horror, I will definitely check out. And guys, I got this for $3 at thriftbooks.com. The best used website ever. Like, the books that I just held up, the Outlander book, the thick one, $3. Definitely check out thriftbooks.com. I'm just saying. Next book I want to talk about is Goddess of Yesterday by Caroline B. Cooney. And I actually read this when I was like in 6th grade or so. And I love Caroline B. Cooney. I used to read all of her books. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Face on the Milk Carton series, but that series is excellent. It's a mystery series, but I'm not here to talk about that right now. Goddess of Yesterday is set around the Trojan War, and it's probably not so accurate to the Trojan War history and stuff like that, but it's about mythology and the Trojan War, so obviously I'm going to love it, and I remember loving this book so much, and it looks like a quick read. I just want to reread it to get immersed into the Trojan War story again. I love everything Troy. Love it. Love everything mythology as well. So beautiful. Next book I want to read is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. This is book 1 of the Chaos Walking trilogy. I have heard nothing but amazing things about this series, and I cannot wait to start it. And I just want to be able to marathon this series, so I'm waiting until I have time to do it because Whew. I believe this is a fantasy series where people can hear other people's thoughts. That's what I think this is about. Let me know below if you guys have read this and what you thought of it. I believe I might be reading this with Nerdy Book Lover and Miss Bookish Beauty, so that'll be exciting, and I can't wait to do that. So stay tuned for more Chaos Walking stuff, guys. The last book I want to talk about is a book that I must reread soon. I read this book in May, and it was one of the best YA fantasy books I've read in a very long time, and it's Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder. This is actually part of a trilogy. Actually, it might be even more than that. She's thinking about writing a 4th book or so, but this could actually be a standalone, and I might prefer it as a standalone. However, I just love the characters so much, so of course I love the series. But this book, guys, is just the feels. I think I read this in one sitting. It was one of those books, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it was so good. It's about this girl named Yelena. She's a prisoner in the commander's dungeons, and the commander's like the king in this series. She is given a choice at the beginning of this book. She can either face her trial and execution or become the poison tester for the king. It's about her being kick-ass and her learning the ropes about poisons and things like that, and all this intrigue and corruption's going on. I just love it so much. And I love the male character in this book, Valak. He is like one of my favorite characters ever. I love him. So definitely check out this book if you haven't. I'm definitely rereading it soon. I just love this book. That is it for the books that I have for this unconventional book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry it's not a true book haul, but it's the best I can do under the circumstances. I'm sure once Christmas arrives, I'll be hauling some books, but until then, I just wanted to talk about books with you guys because that's what I made my channel for. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope to see more of you in the future. Bye! Just basically about Belgarath. That is it. Ooh, it's gonna fall. No, it's not about relationships. It's about kick-ass characters. I believe I might be reading this with, oh my god, male character in this book, Valak, his name is, I think. Hold on. Of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. Next book I want to talk about is Dragonfly and Amber. Apparently he wrote this for his daughter.